Good, I can use the publicity for this one.
She's a beautiful girl.
Yeah, Jackie.
You should be.
We need your picture.
Good job, Ian. Can you sign it? Oh, yeah.
It'll be effective October 1st. When's it effective immediately?
We're gonna
We'll
talk
have to
about it. I'm
decide
gonna add that
that
as
right
an
now.
item to talk about.
Are we ready to start?
I think we should make that the first agenda item.
Call the meeting to order. Everybody's present. Pledge of allegiance has been announced. First item on the agenda is, you wanna
I move that, can I move something now?
Sure.
I believe that we should move the first, the discussion from that meeting to be the first topic for tonight.
And that is when you recommend that we
To-
open the dump
to-
based upon
for
4
the
days.
transfer
It's
station.
a transfer station, but
Transfer recycling station.
And transfer and recycling center.
Yeah.
I recommend we, go back to the Monday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday hours, starting October 1st, which is a Monday. That'll give us 10 days to get staffed up and geared up for it. Yes.
I
Discussion.
make a motion, to accept the recommendation from our Director of Public Works to begin the, restoring the hours on October 1st, 2018.
I'll second that for the purpose of discussion.
Okay, additional discussion.
Does that impact what we were gonna do with the brush hours? Are we gonna be?
Yes, we will not be opening on the, if we were,
It'd make for a full day on
it would
Sunday.
make a full day, and then we're gonna kick the help, we don't wanna do that.
You know what we could do?
But we are opening 7:30 to 12 on Sunday.
Yeah, but you know what I would do on those 2 months? I would make it the afternoon, because they may only have that day to do it, and they have between your afternoon hours to do it. And we could do that here and modify it so that it's convenient for them.
Just as a point of order, I mean, I think that you superseded the initial budget intent with what was voted on tonight.
Right. You
So
can
you
have
went back to
the
the old
same hours.
schedule,
Yeah.
so the fall and spring
Right.
don't exist anymore.
Right.
They don't
Unless
exist.
No,
we
they
do
don't,
that
but-
because it was
Unless
very-
you make.
But we decided to do the later hours in the fall and spring. To Kathy's point, if someone works on Saturdays and they're cleaning their yard Sunday morning, it'd be nice to be able to dump off the trash.
Sure.
But does that cause more confusion than it's worth? My
Yeah, you're gonna-
concern
I
is
would
we
think
now
so.
have a
You're
truck,
gonna
we have a
do
town
the
resident
meeting
showing up at 8.
already.
Yep.
We've set the precedent with the hours that we stated.
Yep.
I think we should just make them the same year-round.
And any additional
And-
changes, we can look at next
Well, look
week.
at that and, yeah, the next.
It'll be
week.
as confusing as church.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
And not only that, but we couldn't,
You'd have
couldn't have
deviated,
more hours.
you'd have
Because
deviated
then we would
hours
have-
every,
we'd be
you know,
looking at
every
40
6
hours.
months.
No, my point was, we are now going to be open what time on Sundays?
7:30 to 12.
7:30 to 12, and we were gonna
Monday,
be open 1 to 4,
Thursday,
right?
Saturday, 7:30 to 4, Sunday, 7:30 to 12.
I don't know.
And we were gonna be open 1 to 4
For
anyway,
October.
so 3 hours. So if we, my question was, do we wanna move that 4-hour Sunday block to Sunday afternoon to accommodate Sunday morning cleanups, or does that cause more confusion than it's
Well,
worth? And if
I
your
think
recommendation
we
is more
should go back to
confusion-
the original hours.
I don't think it's so difficult to post it, to notify it, to use Wicked Good News, to use our website to tell them that we're trying to accommodate them every way. We hear in this room, there are people that are working all day Saturday and only have Sundays, and it doesn't make any difference that the cost is going to be the same. Why can't we just make it
We
for
could
the
do-
months of October and April, that they have all day to get there?
Not all day, 12, I'm
I
saying
mean,
12:30
no,
to
they have
4.
all day, but I mean, they have to be there before 4 o'clock in order to do whatever they're doing.
But it wouldn't open till
Wouldn't open
11:30
till,
or
what,
11:30, right?
11:30?
11:30
Yeah.
to 4.
11:30 to 4.
I would like to try 11:30 to 4 and see what happens.
In October.
In October.
In April.
And April.
In April, and then,
So that would, yeah.
And
That
I don't
doesn't
know-
impact our labor hours.
I don't know if it's wise to ask people who are using the transfer station to let us know what hours they think are best for Sunday, or if that opens up.
Well, that would be a
time for-
conversation for our next budgeting cycle to say, what are we gonna do July 1st? That might be, do we wanna go full? I don't know, or.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I don't know, I just asked the question. I have no data to back it up. I'm just, from everything I've heard,
Yeah.
if people are busy on Saturdays and I'm listening to the guy with the oak leaves, is it more convenient for us to let the residents get there as late as 4 o'clock on a Sunday? 'Cause I know when I'm cleaning my yard up, I'm busting my butt to get it done by 11:30 so I can get one more
And many people
load of
go to church
leaves.
in the morning.
Yeah, so, I don't know, I'd like,
I-
But will that confuse the issue?
So only
That
for
would be
those
my
2
only-
months though,
Yeah,
so May, June, July would be the 7:30 to
7:30
12.
Correct.
yeah.
it's
But
just.
April would be
Yeah.
April and
11:30 to
October
4,
would be
is that?
11:30 to 4 in this fiscal year.
Okay.
We
That's
can
just what
open
I'm
up
trying to- I'm
discussion.
just trying to decipher it all.
You know, because we're gonna talk about this again in January, so where we're going from here.
Exactly, yeah.
well, how hard is it for us to get a survey out on Facebook or something in the next week and just,
I
we
just
don't
do
have to
it.
set up the
You know,
hours now,
I-
right? We kinda wanna agree that we wanna be open 4 days a week effective October 1. We could figure out what Todd thinks the best hours are in the next couple of weeks.
Tim, may I suggest if you start a survey, you're gonna get all kind of different recommendations, and we're gonna go back to the same way we were before.
Based on the tenor of the crowd, no matter what you say,
That's
they would
exactly
like
the
more
point.
hours, I mean,
Right.
so.
Yeah.
So I should ask you.
I think what's the right balance?
Right.
What
What's,
do you-
in terms of staffing, what do you recommend? You're the one that has the.
I recommend whatever we decide is that we make it consistent throughout the rest of the fiscal year.
Yeah, I would agree.
Changing the hours.
Because if we're, people, even before this year, people were extremely confused on when the transfer station was
I got
open.
calls all the time.
And they don't understand it until it impacts them, it's when they go. They go at Monday at 10, that's when they go every day.
Yeah.
But if we change it in October and then go back in December,
Bad idea.
January, February, March, and change it in April and go back
Yeah.
in May,
That's
June,
gonna be a
it's
mess.
confusing.
I
Somebody's
agree.
gonna show up in May at
They're gonna be
2
mad.
o'clock.
No, I agree with that.
Yeah.
So what do you
The
think?
only thing I'm gonna argue back with you is that I can remember, I've been in this town a long time, that we used to have cards that everybody would keep. They were almost like sticker cards, and
Yeah,
they
the
gave
magnet.
you.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
still do.
All
Good
right,
night.
so
Very
if
good. Yeah.
you give those out,
We do.
they would be able to read and say, okay, so during the month of October, oh
We-
good,
we-
I can do my leaves on
And probably
Sunday.
most do, but we still get a lot of calls even before this
Yeah,
year.
I
The
know.
town clerk gets
Everybody gets
inundated,
calls.
is a dump open today?
And it's the
It's-
holiday thing that
It's the
really
holiday thing that
trips
mess them up.
Believe it or not.
For me, moving it is, I think, more confusing.
You also
It doesn't
have-
matter monetarily, because the staff will be working the same number of hours a week.
Right, but you also have to ask the staff, and you're requesting the staff, 2 months out of the year, work.
Afternoons versus
Yeah,
mornings.
they're giving up basically their entire Sunday, because you can't get a lot done in the morning, because you gotta go to work at 11:30, and you're there till 4, and by the time
We
you
do
get
a
out,
full day, then we're
lost
into-
your day.
Overtime.
Well, no, we're approaching 40 hours a week, and we're not doing more than,
Yeah.
and this allocation doesn't cover that.
Gotcha.
I mean, we could try it, I think they're gonna be confused.
Inconsistency is
My feeling is you go back to the same original schedule. That's my personal opinion.
From what I heard in the room, I disagree, that's all.
Okay? That's why we're discussing it.
We got a lot of young people that work,
Hmm.
and they work
And they do work Saturdays as well.
And they
A
work
lot of
on
young families
Saturdays.
have to work on Saturdays.
So
And
if they own a home, and they obviously do, if
So what I'd like to recommend is that we open from 11:30 to 4, and if we hear a preponderance of comments
On
that they
Sunday,
think the
11.
morning,
On
on
Sunday.
Sorry, on Sundays 11, thank you, bud, on Sundays 11:30 to 4, with the understanding that it's done to accommodate what we think we heard the town say they need for cleanup in afternoons. Now, if I've heard that incorrectly, be wise enough to listen to your recommendation to swing it back to something else in November if we need to, but,
You're recommending this as a schedule?
as a
Okay, not we're gonna change
Right,
the
a
1 month and go
schedule,
back
a
and
static
forth.
schedule for the balance of this fiscal year, I'm saying from 11:30 to 4 on
On
Sundays,
Sunday.
that's what we're gonna do
Yeah.
for the balance of this fiscal year, because I think if you change it back and forth, it really confuses people, I have to agree with
Okay,
that.
so what
Going
you're
into the
saying,
balance of the year, are you gonna have enough funding for it now again?
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
not
it's the
adding
same
hours,
amount. We're not
adding
we're
hours.
changing the Sunday hours from 7:30 to 12 to 11:30 to 4.
Same-
There's the same
yeah,
number of
same number
hours,
of
so
hours.
the cost
I
is the
got
same.
you.
And
And
Monday,
that's to allow people to clean up on Sundays, then if they have a Sunday picnic, and it wraps up at 2 o'clock, they can get their picnic garbage to the dump, and, you know, those are all the things that we've heard from people, so I'd like
That
to.
sounds good, as long as.
That
it's
may
consistent.
actually work better
As long as
year-round.
we make it the same year, for the rest of the year.
why don't we
Yep.
do it that
then
way?
we can do that, yeah.
With our ears open, that if it's really I've heard it
difficult.
wrong, we'll swing it back, but
Right.
I think.
So you're
Honestly,
talking-
it makes it easier plowing, because usually for some
You
reason
have
we
to plow in the
have snow
winter.
in the winter, and we're working all night Saturday,
Oh, yeah,
racing
yeah.
to try to get the jump open, and it
Yep.
takes a couple hours to clean that place up.
So Monday,
There is that.
Tuesday, and Friday, 7:30 to 4.
Monday, Tuesday,
Monday, Thursday, Saturday,
Monday,
Monday,
Thursday,
Thursday, and
Saturday.
7:30 to 4.
You writing these down, Jackie?
Sunday, 11:30 to
To 4, okay, for the balance of
For the
this
balance
fiscal-
of this fiscal year.
Okay.
Which goes through June 30th-ish.
I second that.
Excellent.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, let's
Very good.
Thank
reiterate.
you.
Monday.
Starting October 1st, our
Yeah,
hours will be
beginning
Monday, Thursday, Saturday, 7:30 to 4.
Right,
Sundays,
Sunday.
11:30 to 4.
Great.
Excellent.
So
So the first
amendment-
Sunday will be October 7th, and Bud and Kathy and I will be there giving out coffee and donuts. Highly unlikely.
It's
Okay.
October 2nd, is
So
it?
the key thing, we have to effectively communicate this.
Yeah.
Right,
So we'll-
so-
We should be,
Facebook, text,
Oh,
Facebook,
yeah.
text notes, front
Can you
board,
put,
back board.
Todd, can you put something on
Can
the,
you put
Yeah, we
neon
don't-
signs on the JI that flash and?
I'll put it, yeah, I'll put it on the board on front of the transfer station.
Can you just go around to every house in
Could you
town?
go to every house and let them know what's going on?
Hi, we're from the JI. Just thought you'd want to know this.
Yeah, we'll do Facebook, the town website.
can we put it on the town
And-
board
We can-
item?
we can-
Okay.
I'd like you to go on Google because
I
you're,
will change the hours on Google, I already have.
but no, you had, there, somehow Google puts you in 5 different, that's why some of them are not converted over, 'cause that happens when the transfer station was, first closed. I went in and there were 5 sites, and 3 of them had the correct time in it, so
Well, you might have
Google's
them in
messing
Summers,
them
New
up.
York, too.
That's old
Yeah.
news though, like, that's like, it's gonna be there forever.
I don't have anything, I email Google and then they get back to me and say
I have that
it's changed,
problem
but
with something.
But
what
they
do
need to
with
clean up
all of
their
historic-
Google.
Yeah, they do.
They need to clean it up, and if you could ask them to do it, 'cause that's why they didn't see it,
I'll see
because
if I
one
can
of
find
them
an
was
error
correct.
somewhere. And if I do, I'll screenshot it
Yeah,
to them.
'cause there, it was correctly listed
So we'll
immediately when
do our
you
best to
changed
get the
it.
info out and,
Yeah, but
work
we have
it
to
out
get it
right
out
now.
every way we can.
yep.
Okay.
Good.
Oh, can you do the front door tomorrow? We're not here, so people have it,
Yeah,
you know, don't wanna be slacking.
we'll be here anyways, 'cause we're done.
Okay,
My
so
job.
the transfer station / recycling center, you'll post it, we'll post it out here on the bulletin board.
Eric will
Yeah.
take care of that tomorrow.
Jackie will put it on the JI, and then we'll put it on social media,
Yeah.
with
And I'll
website.
tweet it too.
Tweet it. Okay, great.
We can
Who
even
the
send,
heck
we
is
can
following
send
the
out
transfer station on Twitter? Don't answer.
It's not the transfer station, it's the town of Summers, it's hashtag the town of Summers.
we can send out.
Are you
Oh,
doing
yeah,
that
I was
yet?
only kidding.
I'm not, well.
You can put up a sign
Just
down
Trump and the
there.
Pope.
I
I just follow Trump
Yeah,
and the
that's
Pope
pretty
because it
good.
really confuses all the analytics on the line. It's like,
I mean,
who follows
the
Pope?
message I sent out today went to 164 people about the town meeting, so
WFSD.
there's 164 people that used it out of the 11,000. It's not terrible.
I use the app.
Okay, we're all set on the, transfer
we are.
station
Awesome
/
job, you guys.
recycling
Thank you,
center.
thank you.
Thank you.
Speaking of awesome jobs, let's hear about this grant.
Yes, chief, it's up
That's
to you.
amazing.
So we put in for a fire act grant, which we got notification that we were awarded. It's basically to allow the fire department, to properly clean
Bunker
and
gear.
wash and dry bunker gear.
Yep.
Right now, we've got basically a residential coin-operated washing machine that we use for station uniforms, the linen that's on the ambulance stretcher, and the dirty bunker gear coming out of fires, which is covered in crap and carcinogens and all that other stuff that the studies are saying is really nasty stuff. So what this grant will allow us to do is to basically, with Todd's help, we're gonna basically gut the decon room that we have now, get rid of the old washer. We're gonna get a dedicated bunker gear machine that's industrial stainless steel, the whole 9 yards, a dedicated gear dryer. Right now, we take the gear and put it in the boiler room, 'cause
To dry,
it's hot, but it
Yes.
smells like oil,
yeah.
which is kinda counterproductive. Your gear's clean, but it smells like oil. So this will be a dedicated washer, dedicated dryer for the bunker gear, and a separate standalone washer dryer residential style for station clothes, dish towels, linen, things like that. So that's gonna allow us to separate that out and do that. The total award project was, the total project's, 18,500. The federal grant is 95% of it. So the federal grant award, if the town is willing to accept it, is $17,620.
And we have
I
to
mean, we'd
come up
have
with
1 year to do it.
balance.
And the town match is $880, which think we can figure that out.
Yeah, I think we'll be.
We can put a coin-operated thing on there, or put a credit card, and
We'll get our
match that
880 back
we'll
in
match
no
that
time.
880 in no time.
You'll know that the coin op's working if you find somebody sleeping in the dryer.
But it is a step in the right direction again for the firefighter health, safety, and even for the people that we're serving, because the
Yeah.
crap from the bunker gear is not gonna now be on the linen that was on the ambulance, so it's nice to keep everything clean and separate.
I think
But
that's a
we just need the
wonderful
Board of
idea.
Selectmen to make a motion to formally accept the award, and then we'll have 1 year from that date to process it.
I make a motion that we accept the chief's recommendation to accept the federal grant in the amount of $17,620 toward the acquisition of
Bunker gear.
bunker
gear.
cleaning
Well,
gear. Is that
yes.
fair enough?
Second,
Amend that to also indicate the town will $880.
I'll approve that amendment that the town will match will contribute $880 toward that.
All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes.
John,
Nice
I just
work,
need-
John.
I just
Sure.
need,
Thank you, John.
like original paperwork on that. Okay, that works.
John, that bunker gear is really heavy. So how, you do one at a time?
We did tend to wash the ones, I mean, the machine will be capable of washing like 2 sets at a time, but, right, we typically will wash 1 set at a time. But the washer and dryer, the big thing is the dryer's gonna be able to do dry 2 or 3 sets at a time, because that's what takes even longer than washing it. You can wash it in an hour, but then it takes 6 hours to dry it, so.
I want you guys look spiffy.
Well, what they're really finding is that the products of combustion are full of carcinogens.
Yeah,
So,
you don't want to be inhaling.
every time you go into a fire nowadays, there's a big push to wash the gear, get the gear clean, get that stuff off of it, so you're not walking around in the stuff.
That's good, 'cause that's not good to breathe.
Okay, thanks, John. Opportunity to add agenda items?
Nope, we got number
We
5.
Number 5.
Charitable gain transition.
Okay. Boards and commissions, I've accepted.
Nope, we got to do number 5.
5.
Oh, I'm sorry.
If you could just pass this down to Kathy, that's what I sent you the other day.
Yes.
And I highlighted the fees that the, state recommends, well, if you go to the last page, you'll see. That's what they were charging, that's what we can charge up to,
Okay.
so.
So
I
right
think
now,
take that and run with it.
yes, 2 questions I have. One is on fees and one is on the process. So it seemed to me, based on what I saw from some email conversations, that the process is unclear. Like if I wanted to help the Boy Scouts run a raffle, does everybody in town hall know where to send me? Nicely.
Yes.
You can go to.
Police department.
Okay.
They really, this is new as of January 1st.
Yep.
And I think she knew that, we had discussions about that. Kim and I have been researching the process, because there's been multiple questions, people wanna run bingos, I think the fire department's running one.
Yep.
Association's looking at it.
Yeah, so, she's been working with them, she's well aware what she needs to do.
Kim.
Yeah.
All right, so somebody, like if John wants to run bingo, it shouldn't be a big run around in town hall of who to go see. It's just off to
No.
police, fill out
Yeah.
the right paperwork and off
Yeah.
we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
and
think the
then
police department is
ultimately,
set up to
The chief of
basically do.
police signs off on the final permit, and then the permit, they just pay a fee with finance or the town clerk, either one.
And they should,
Um,
probably, depending on what the process states, if they're paying at the time of applying for the permit, or if it's after it's issued, depends on
Well, there
what.
was like that last additional fee after the first selectman signed off on the permit, they went down, they paid, I forgot what it was, $25.
Aha, that's my problem. So it's the either ors that always screw up a process. So I guess what I wanted to have for this board to recommend to whomever needs to know,
Mhm.
what is the process? So if the process is, it starts at the police station,
Yeah.
form gets completed, the
Background checks get done
Right.
and all that good stuff.
chief signs off on it, so that's
If it's
Bud.
approved and they get the permit.
So the chief of police, which is Bud, signs
Yeah.
off on it. Does it then need to be approved also by the board of selectmen?
No.
Does it
No,
not?
we're just
Okay.
approving.
Now, the
And
problem.
then who pays the fee to whom? So I imagine
Well,
the
And
applicant
when
pays
is
the
it
fee.
paid?
Because
Because
that's, when we get the permit, when
Okay.
Kim gives me the permit, I call up the person who submitted, like, I know that Rotary's done it, or the church has
The
done
church
it.
is trying to do.
So we call
it.
up that person, we say, hey, your permit's here, come get it, and then I think between you and Ann, I don't know, it's either they
My-
go pay Ann
It should be
or,
treasurer.
My only issue with it is,
cause I know that was always a problem, because the state
I'm-
always just went, here you go,
I'm
here you
not very
go."
keen on people coming in directly into Treasury to pay
And that's
for a
fine,
permit.
and that's
Because
fine.
I have zero part in it, other than I collect the
Right.
cash.
And that was
So I
the
was like,
missing
once
link
Bud,
that
once
last
Bud
piece.
signs off
Okay.
on it, maybe it
So-
should go back to the PD,
And
and
we
they
can do
take the
that,
cash.
sure.
I think
I
we
can
should
give
go.
it
That's
signed,
that would be
give it
my
back to Kim,
recommendation.
Less
great
hands
recommendation.
I like
I
that.
think she would be happy with that too.
That would be my recommendation.
So going forward, the only other thing that we're revamping the forms a little bit, just to say the Town of Somers Police Department, 451 Main Street, make check payable to whomever. And then, we're gonna kinda mock, South Windsor's website. If you go to the police department, we're gonna kinda set it up like that. Kim's been looking at that as well, so.
Well, the one thing that I know is, we don't have a look right now from this piece of paper what a class 1 to a class 7 is. And that's a part, because some of them, if you don't read it right, it can be really crippling.
Mhm.
If you're doing a very small raffle, you're only putting out 100 tickets,
Mhm.
but it's not gonna be a really expensive ticket
Mhm.
either.
Right.
It may not even fall in this category.
Right,
So at that point, we have to probably judge that
yeah.
based on
So that's
other
kinda where
things.
you guys gotta decide whether, I don't wanna, Kim doesn't probably want that responsibility, what to charge, so this is kinda what was given to us by the state, and so we gotta kinda look at,
Okay, so before we get to fees, let me make sure that I have this right. So I'm
Okay.
gonna make a recommendation that this becomes our policy. The permittee goes to the police department to file the permit. Chief of police signs off on the approved permit. Permit goes back to the police department. The check is payable to the town of Somers.
yeah.
Correct.
To the town of
And that's all
Somers,
in all the paperwork.
and paid at the police department when the permit is retrieved by the applicant at the police department.
Yeah, I like it.
Police handles it all, okay.
Very good,
Excellent, so that would be motion 1.
okay.
Okay, I
You wanna second that, and then we can move on to fees?
second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
As far as the fees, I think, we don't have enough information here.
Okay.
You don't
can-
have enough
No,
information.
but that's what was given, so
I
I
know.
just figured if, you know,
I just
we
don't
can-
think it's always going to be fair,
no, I understand where you're coming from, and I know that a lot
unless
of
we do
people-
it by
Why don't we
discretion.
just do $75?
Is that too much? Like
Yeah.
for-
Or just do a flat fee for
So
all
what
of them,
about,
like all
well,
over there.
yeah, okay, so if you're talking like, a senior discount too, because I know that there's some,
I know about that,
the
but,
women's club, you know, they don't probably have a lot of money either, so.
Oh, yeah,
and
'cause
they're trying to
it's the
raise
bars.
money,
and I
so-
think a charge sometimes, like, for example, I know that the one that I'm aware of is a very small, it was a donation of 2 tickets to Hamilton. And it's gonna be limited, and it's a small amount, but
Well,
it's,
what's your recommendation?
I don't think it falls in any of these categories, so we
Okay.
have to have something,
Well, wait a
Okay.
second though, it's not the value of the merchandise that's being raffled, it's the.
right, it's what's coming at the top,
value,
it's still gonna
right,
be a lot
yeah.
of
I mean,
tickets,
So it's bazaar or raffles, right?
right.
What's the definition of a bazaar briefly?
I think those bazaars,
Well, I think it's more expensive, and it gets down to the, you know, somebody's raffling off a car.
I understand that.
You know what I mean? So they can afford the $300 fee if they're raffling off a car, so.
That-
Maybe we accept this as it is,
And-
this is just conversation now, but
Yeah.
saying, if you read it and you think the net value doesn't fit any of these categories, we could just decide it on our own.
And, right, and so the bazaars could be, like, the consumer protection's always gonna come out if there's, like, machines, they have to like, check over, so there's no fraud, that kind of stuff. They're still gonna be
Okay,
in the
so-
loop with some of this stuff, but
So to
no
Kath-
money's going to them.
So to Kathy's point, if
Yeah.
we accepted this fee schedule with one addition that says, if it's not clear which one of these falls
Right,
under,
that's good.
the application goes to the Board of Selectmen can then determine a fee.
Right.
Okay,
That
I
fair?
like that.
yeah.
That way, if there's a question, somebody can bring it to us and say, I'm doing a $20 raffle
But there's,
here.
so just, and it, to add on to that, there's timelines with these. So if you're not meeting and they have to go, you know what I mean? Some of these happen really quickly, and some of them have 15 days to get to, and they have to provide information to the police, and
Always.
they could be denied.
But that's all part of the permit process, right?
But it's if you're, everything has to be approved, everything
Yeah.
gets a permit, so I think that,
But the fees are only payable once the police department said, yep, this is good, correct?
yeah.
Once
Yeah.
it's signed off
So I
on
can't
it.
imagine that
Yeah.
we'd charge a fee
Yeah.
if the permit's
Yeah,
not good,
and like,
so.
so we really, this is our first run around, so
Yep,
I would
so,
say-
and so my point is that
Yeah.
if the application comes in
Yeah.
and you and Kim can't figure out which classification
Then we
it
go like, hey
belongs
guys,
to,
you're gonna meet.
it bounces to the
Okay.
Board of
All
Selectmen
right.
and we,
Okay.
That's where I
That
wanna
should
go
give us
with it.
enough time, so.
I would even say,
I just worry about the
first
timeline.
selectman.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
can
we
the
can
first
leave it up to
selectman
the
use
first
his discretion
selectman.
to
Leave it up to
determine
the
that,
selectman.
rather than
I
having to
like
have
that
a
better
meeting
just
for it.
because,
Timing.
All right,
if
so-
timing is an issue.
So my second motion will be then to
Okay.
adopt the schedule recommended by the state of Connecticut for bingo, bazaar, or raffle permit fees, with the addendum that should the class type be unclear at the time of application, the Board of Selectmen, or the first selectman
Mhm.
may institute any reasonable fees
Yeah, I like that.
they seem so
Very
seem fit.
That's really doable.
Second.
I like that, okay,
All in favor?
thank you.
Aye.
I have a question. Do they define
Thank
these
you.
classes? They define these classes 1 through 7?
In the permit, it's
Yeah,
there.
it's all, it's like
Okay.
very detailed.
It's in the permit.
More stuff
It's
than we
like,
wanna know.
oh my God. Thank God they give you a sample to how to
It's
fill it out. because-
unbelievable.
Yeah,
Another example of the state basically pushing everything back in.
yeah.
At least you get to keep the money this time.
Yeah.
Kind of going to
Oh,
the
no,
general
no,
fund
no,
to
all
Steve
these
can ask
fees
us
go
about
to
it.
the town now, so, and, after talking with Kim, just so you know, I talked to her again today about this, and then maybe down the road, you know, with the repeal, and she got into state statutes and all this stuff, and I'm like, how do you know all this stuff, but that's what she did,
All
you
right,
know?
so
So down the road, this may change and maybe become an amendment to our charter, or an ordinance, or part of an ordinance.
All right,
But
probably
right
for today,
now,
we're good.
yeah, so we can get
So
people
now,
going.
now Todd can actually raffle off special hours. to
Yeah.
let this- Excellent.
Oh, no, private passes.
Private passes, I like it, I like it, I like
For the
it.
highest bidder.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
But not more than $10 every 10 years, just so you know.
And thank you, Kim and Kim, for organizing.
That was really good, very
Yeah,
nice.
thank you.
I would like to, add an, agenda item. It's, Kim, give me some update on the Wicked Good News.
Oh, so, we've partnered with, Wicked Good News, and it's going to be called Summer's Connection. And Brian hooked me up with his little graphic designer, so we're gonna have some really nice agricultural art on the top, so we're gonna be all artsy, but anyways, we've got like 10 vendors for sponsorships, so we're gonna have a lot of room to put some great information in there, fire department stuff, DPW, a letter from the Selectman, Butter has submitted something that's very, very good. I have asked the superintendent to also supply me with something, just 'cause he's new and, you know, people should know who he is.
Yeah.
And, we're gonna feature the assessor's department, take a nice picture of Karen and Walter, 'cause they're going to people's yards and taking pictures or whatever they're doing out there. And, just kinda tell them what they do and, you know, and educate people.
And the first edition is expected when?
November 12th is
Right.
going to be the mail date, I believe. I don't know if they're mailing out the week before, but it's November 12th.
Cool.
Is the deadline, and then it'll be quarterly. So the next one will go out February 15th, and then May, I don't have the, you know, every 3 months. So we're always working ahead. So anything that you have in any department and any information, we wanna get it in there, you know, for those months that, like, for, you know, mailboxes. You know, who to call if this is a road, you know, the DOT stuff is great, because people don't realize they can go on the DOT and say, I got a pothole in my street, instead of calling town hall, and just make, you know, it's gonna be a lot of good.
See, the beauty of this publication, it's something that people can hold. It's colorful.
It's
It'll
all
go to every
color,
household.
so I think it's gonna
It'll
be-
address some of the issues that were brought up tonight in terms of.
I brought this up, about 4 years ago, but it wasn't Wicked Good News. It was
Yeah.
maybe 5 years. It wasn't Wicked Good News. It was something
Yeah.
that was being accomplished in Florida, and I thought it was really
Yeah, I think
worthwhile.
people are
I remember
really
you
gonna
showing me
like
that.
Yeah?
Yeah, I
Across
remember
the
that.
town Zippo, right?
Zippo.
And there's zero cost to the town of
No one
drawing
thought
that.
about getting
And so there'll be a
sponsored.
directory in
Right.
there, I mean, I
That's
keep,
what they
every
do.
day I write something
Oh.
down, you know, what's 211, how to reach your elected officials, you know, from your senator to the president of the United States kind of thing, so.
You didn't give up our secret meeting.
I did not,
With
not,
the clubhouse.
so, yeah.
Kim, let me ask you a question.
Sure.
So if someone wanted to sponsor it,
Mhm.
would they be allowed to put
They're advertising.
their news in there?
Well, yeah, I
Yeah,
think,
right.
you know,
Or part of the
depending
ad.
on what it is and the
Mhm.
message, and I'd be happy to look at that. So, like, Dave Morgan came in today, and I'm like, I know he runs a, I was do cremations up in Maine or something, or
Mhm.
whatever, but he supports the community, so he's gonna do, his dog is a service dog, so he's gonna give a picture of, what's his name again? I always wanna call him Rusty, but it's
Nugget?
Nugget. His
Nugget,
name's cute.
that's it.
So we're gonna put a picture of Nugget in there, and what Nugget does, and where he goes, and who he helps, so.
Cool.
Just stuff like that, and
And
it doesn't have to be, you
So
know,
if you
all
could
like.
give me some, paperwork on some sponsorship, I would probably like to have one.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I can
And
absolutely do that.
put the new town dump,
Yeah, I'll look
cycling
at
hours,
that.
I'm sorry.
So I'm really excited about it.
Okay.
Good,
Yeah.
nice work.
Yeah.
It's just another way of communicating.
Important stuff and
Yeah.
budgetary stuff. I mean, this is gonna
It'll
be.
be
Yeah,
good,
they
and
go on
the
a-
next day you can hold on to it.
Yeah.
So you've got about a month,
Right.
it's right in the same time.
Yeah,
Based
and
on the
within the
timing.
finance department, you can put your message out there
Yeah.
and, you know,
Absolutely.
when budget time's coming
Yeah.
and how
Yeah,
how
well,
we're
we
looking
can come up with
financially.
every message for every quarter.
Yeah,
We could have one of the
absolutely. Some,
It brings up a good point about the budget, Mike. You know, when the next quarterly publication comes out, we should be more transparent in terms of what we're talking about, et cetera, so people get the message. I think everybody has a responsibility to educate themselves.
well,
whether
this
it's
is gonna
social.
help, so, they really, people like stuff in their hands.
All right.
Thank you to let me do it.
I like it. I don't have to do anything, doesn't cost us any money, and it
I
helps.
know.
Hits on all the cylinders, I like it.
Ticks all the boxes.
Yeah.
Any additional items to,
Another additional item, tax collection, just a heads up,
Oh,
the
right.
selectmen that the delinquent letters were announced, this past week. Delinquent demand letters for personal property and for real estate taxes. And then on October 1st, there'll be demand letters for motor vehicles. Last year, they all went out at one time, created quite a stir, people calling in and complaining. So, right now, it's gonna be kind of, it's
Staggered.
we're staggering
Yeah.
them. But the total value is $663,536.
that's 2/3 of a mill.
Yeah, that's probably 0.8, that's like 3/4 of a
That's
mil,
motor vehicle?
That's total.
So,
That's everything?
Real estate,
Real
personal
estate.
property.
There's real estate in there, and real estate will, we are going to use the marshal to do a lot more aggressive collecting, and we will clear that with you, with the selectmen prior to undertaking it, but there are, in state statute itself, there are all
That's okay.
means available to a tax collector and a town to collect the revenue. Some of them are very aggressive, and you have to balance aggressiveness with the amount of the debt. So, but like I say, we need to, these people are, for lack of a better term, robbing the town, other people, of almost $1 million in a tax increase because they're not paying. So, that's all.
Yeah, everybody has a responsibility to pay their taxes, and I guess in the past, we haven't been as efficient, let's say, in terms of
I
collecting
think we
that.
were.
Yeah,
We've always been efficient.
we've been efficient, we have not been aggressive.
Yeah,
Okay,
definitely.
and when I say aggressive, we've let time period lapse too long maybe. But the way we're doing it now, it's like when the debt is here and you are delinquent, that's it. We're not gonna wait. You know you're supposed to have paid it, you didn't pay it, so,
Okay.
yeah.
Do you have boards and commissions on here?
Yes, I accepted,
Oh, okay, I didn't know if you were.
accepted the resignation of Carol Pine from the Cemetery Commission. So we'll have to come up with some recommendations.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you have a committee now without a chairman,
Right.
and so something's gonna need to be,
So is it 30 days that you have to appoint?
Well-
We need to come up with a new chairman, probably somebody who is existing,
Do
committee
they do
member.
that internally, or does
I
the
think they
board?
would, to me,
They have to vote
So
themselves.
someone's
That's what I
gonna,
thought.
we'll have to call a meeting for them, I guess,
Yeah.
because they
Yeah.
don't really have
Yeah.
anybody to call that
Yeah,
meeting.
and they'll have to appoint.
So we'll have to
chair.
have a special meeting for them to elect a chairman, and then
Send it
Board of
out.
Selectmen will have to come up with some candidates for possible,
I thought we might have a.
We have a number of candidates,
Okay.
but I think the first thing to do is, I guess, Pat Loftus, we'll send it out to her,
Yeah, I saw that.
and, just say, in the interim period before we come up with a recommendation, you'll have to name a temporary chairman, okay?
I think we have to move to approve the resignation,
Yeah.
or accept
Yeah.
the resignation
Right.
of Mrs. Pine, and so I so move to accept the resignation.
Okay, second,
Tim just said that.
Well,
we're in a quorum, all in favor?
aye.
Aye, okay. I accept that resignation with regret, she's been a real contributor to the town,
Yep.
to the Historical Society also. Okay, any other items?
Approval of payments.
Yeah,
Starting good. Doing good.
Move to approve payments in the amount of $558,636.05.
second. All in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I can't,
got it upstairs.
oh, wait a minute, though. I really can't vote on this then.
Why?
Yes, yeah.
I can?
Why?
Because it has a refund in there.
No. There's not a problem with
I
that.
don't
No.
think so.
Okay.
I mean, we had expense reimbursement checks.
Yeah,
so-
it was a mistake, that's right. Okay.
Then-
Okay,
Tim has to sign it when he comes back.
okay. Move to adjourn?
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks, John. Thanks, Todd. Thanks, Mike, Brian.
Thank you, Jack.
I don't know how to, I
Is
don't know
this
how
off
you
now?
washed all that heavy bunker gear. That must have been a real pain, huh?
Yeah, one at a time, actually, we take the things apart.